Imagine sitting with us, a quiet room, two chairs, a small table, time set aside. No performance, no show, only conversation. Moments of listening, wondering, and remembering. Have a seat. You're welcome to listen. Welcome to the Just Right Stories. You get more and more excited every time. Yesterday we talked about curiosity. Curiosity was one of the motivators that kept you going, exploring what original play is, or what this pattern that you were seeing in playing with kids. And you also have this part where you sometimes you say you don't understand why other people don't follow up, why they're not curious enough to also explore what play is. So I was thinking, what is this? If you're curious, you ask questions. And from my experience, if you ask questions, the universe answers. What you have to learn is how to decipher the answers. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how to decipher the answers to the question. It seems to me, as if I look back over this, that all answers have done is give me new questions. Sometimes I say I don't want any more answers because I know where it goes.
Yeah.
And it isn't the answers so much that excite me as the exploration of the question, the unknown of it, or what I think could be, turns out to not even be close. And in my case, this questioning process happens not just within me, but happens to me.
What do you mean?
That it seems to me the children and the animals present me with questions, and they don't wait around for answers. I'm supposed to figure that out. And I'd have to think this through to see if this is really true, but all of the answers are essentially the same thing. The questions have an invisible connection that if I didn't take the time to connect the dots, connect the questions to each other, I would just let each one go as oh, that was a nice coincidence, or, oh, I wonder about that. But it's the connecting the questions and what seem to be answers that creates a very large pattern, very deep pattern. And it seems to me most of the time, I don't pose the questions to myself. They're posed from an interaction I have.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the interaction means, or how do I know that? What kind of knowing is involved in this? That kids and the animals, it's like they're sharing doors or little windows or portals into something, and they just leave it. And I have to deal with, well, where does it go, or what am I doing on this other side of and it's that other side, what seems to be another side, another world, a range of experience that's not accepted in a right and wrong world. Thinking of a boy named Robert who was maybe 8, 9 years old in a center in Seattle for special needs children. And the teacher brought him, and I don't know anything about them because I don't ask. I don't want to know the categories. So we played 15, 20 minutes, and it was getting time for his teacher to come to get him again. And we're just sitting together on the edge of the mat. And all of a sudden he said, I wish I had another life. I wish I had another life. This play is my reminder of another life. And I thought, wow, that's pretty clear that he's telling me that I discovered later that he has autism, that's one world, and he lives in that. But the play reminded him of a different world. Wow. So that was the door. He left me with a question. Wow, if he recognizes two worlds, well, what about me? And play is the door to that other world. Wow, that's powerful. Because it's not a theory. He's not giving me an idea about the world, a theoretical thing that someone told him or read about. This was his life. So more and more the kids share with me experiences that push my curiosity. I certainly don't have to be curious. I could just let it go. But I also feel there's a message that I'm also that he's telling me something about the entire universe, the world that we both live in. And that's important. So the kids share with me meanings from experience that I need to somehow figure out how to deal with. I remember a girl named Katie who was maybe 6. She was another person who could not be in sunlight. In the classroom, they had to pull the shutters down. Well, as you would expect, Katie always went to the windows. And so they had to figure out, they often put her in a chair and then strapped her in a chair because they didn't have time to keep going after her. Well, when I would come to the room, I would go and I would take Katie out of the chair and we'd walk around a little bit. But mostly we went to a mats and played. And one day we were doing this, And we were lying on the mat, parallel to each other, looking at each other, quite close. And I said in my head, I didn't say it out loud, I said, "Katie, you know, don't you?" And when I said that, she giggled. And it startled me, because I hadn't heard that from her before. And I looked back at her and said, "Katie," I leaned forward, "Katie, you know, don't you?" And she giggled again. And I thought, what the heck does she know? And it's as if she let it all go, and she pushed me. What she loved to do was have me lie on my back, and she would sit on my tummy and jump up and down.
Mm-hmm.
She loved to bounce up and down on my tummy as if I was some ball. And it wasn't very long, and it was time for snack or lunch. So I helped get her to the chair and say goodbye to her. And as I was going out of the room, I thought to myself, what happened? Do I tell the teacher? I thought, no, I don't think so. This is not something you share with them.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so I left and I sat to my car and said, well, what happened? What was this about? Why was this special? I had played with Katie before. This was not the first or only time. And as I sat there, I had tears in my eyes, and I could see through my rearview mirror that Katie's mother was coming to the door of the school. And I thought, So I took out a piece of paper and I wrote a letter to Katie's mom and dad about the experience. Mm-hmm. And I waited until I saw Mom come out, and I took my letter and gave it to her. Mm-hmm. She knew about me. We didn't really know each other well. We had seen each other, and she knew what I did, but that was about all. Mm-hmm. And what I had done in the letter was describe Katie as a child of God. And I had no idea about her parents' religion or what they believed or anything. Mm-hmm. That was what I felt. Mm-hmm. So the next day I came to the school and Katie's mom was waiting for me when I came. Mm-hmm. And she came up and she said, "Fred, you're the first person except for her dad and I who has really seen Katie." And when I thought about it, I understood that. Mm-hmm. That took time. It took curiosity. What is this? What's in there? Who's in there? Who's playing with me? Mm-hmm. So it's time, like with Robert, you present a time space. Or the child presents a time space.
What do you mean? You use that word sometimes. What do you mean with time space when you say that?
Like a playground opportunity.
Yeah.
To share. Mm-hmm. And if you're not curious, it's over with. It's gone. Mm-hmm. As fast as that. But if you are, it catches your attention. And it makes you think. It makes you think, well, what is she? Katie's communicating to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In a giggle. Now I can say, everybody can say, "Fred, she's just laughing at something."
Yeah, yeah. But that's not what you felt.
No,
you knew
it's not what I felt.
Through this connection, you knew something's going on there. Yeah, yeah.
So here's another child communicating something that I felt was related to what Robert had shared.
Mm-hmm.
That this world is not just what I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not curious, well, it's gone. I'm back to right and wrong and good and bad and all of this culture.
Mm.
But if I am curious, each child opens the door a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And sometimes the door is thrown open with a shock
Mm-hmm.
that really startles me. So I see that what I think are walls or boundaries and so on, depending on circumstance, aren't there at all.
Mm.
And sometimes I think there was some of the wolves knew that,
Yeah.
and I used to think they're playing me. They're. Once I was with a dominant male wolf called Hambone, and my friend Robert was there to take photographs. He's the one who took the photograph on the front of the book. Best photo of all them. And before I went in with Hambone, I had a list of photos that I would like Robert to take. And I gave him, they were on a little piece of paper. I gave him the list and I took a copy of the list. Mm-hmm. And I put my copy in my pocket of my shirt. Mm-hmm. So Hambone and I, one of the things we did was just walk around together. Mm-hmm. And we were walking around, and he turned his head, and with his teeth, he picked the piece of paper out of my pocket. Mm-hmm. What's that? Then he's walking, and the piece of paper is sticking in his mouth, so part of it is outside of his mouth. So I put one hand on his back, which is normal for us. And I took the other hand to reach to grab the piece of paper out of his mouth. And as I did that, he slightly turned his head and swallowed the paper. And Robert said he can see all of this happening. And he just thinks that's most fun. So,
Well, that's really interesting.
that
story.
would arouse your curiosity.
Yeah.
Of all the times I've been in there with Hambone playing, and he does this magic, how would he know?
Yeah.
And how would he know enough to, again, it felt like Katie, like Robert, like so many other kids, they're sending me a message about the nature of the world we live in. And what I think of as boundaries, if I'm curious enough, aren't as real as they appear.
Yeah.
Probably the most startling, certainly, from one of the wolves at Wolfhaven is from Windsong. She was always very quiet, beautiful coloring, beautiful eyes. Whenever I went in, she had a partner. But the partner I never saw, ever. He was, I'm told then when I wasn't there, the partner would come out. Mm-hmm. But Winsung kept him behind some trees. So I never saw him. I didn't even know she had a partner until Jack shared with me that she has a partner here.
Wow.
So, but she would come out, and then I would sit down and walk in the enclosure and sit down on the ground. She would come over and literally lie on my lap, like anybody's pet dog. And that's all she would do. We never walked around. We never were rambunctious with each other. All we did was me sitting and Windsong lying in my lap. And while she would do that, at times she liked to mouth my hand. And that never hurt. Never. It's just mouthing behavior. I'd have it with kids. They didn't pay any attention to it. There was never marked, never hurt anything. Well, this one day, she did that. She just mouthed. And all of a sudden, she bit. She'd never done that before. And I looked down, and I could see her teeth go right through my hand, top and bottom. And the owner, Steve, and Jack, the biologist, were nearby, and they came in, and they couldn't get her to release. And she would just, like she was chewing. But we all could see the teeth go through my hand.
Didn't it hurt? Didn't it hurt? No?
And there was no blood in it. It was shock of, wow, look at that. And it wasn't long.
Yeah.
It seemed longer than it probably was in real time.
Yeah.
And the three of us just sat there. And she left. She got up and left and just walked away as if this was a normal behavior for us. They took me out to go to the hospital, and they had wrapped a T-shirt around my hand. When we got to the car, Jack said, "Let me see your hand." We took the T-shirt off, and my hand looked normal. No holes, no blood, nothing at all. And he said, "Fred, I'm a wolf biologist. I saw that. I'm going home. You deal with it." So that night I happened to be sleeping in a trailer there at the reserve. And I spent most of the night poking my hand, thinking, well, how does she do that? How does that happen? That really sparked curiosity. So, I didn't expect that my skin would be a disappearing boundary. I thought that was pretty stable and solid.
Yeah.
So that was
that must have really shocked you out of of this world.
Yeah.
It presented to you a very different world that you were experiencing parts of when you play. Isn't it that it shocked you into this world where you often are when you play?
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time in that other world, but you still go back and forth.
Yeah.
It's no visible boundary, and you never know. Do you know where you are? Like, have you got a feeling?
No.
No.
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's easy to tell if I'm playing in a school and in a classroom or a gym, and we put mats down. And so there's a physical area that kids know when they come in, and that I know, okay, this is separate from the rest of the room, and so on. But if I'm playing with street kids, if I'm playing with elk in the wild, there's no boundary. So the playground is fluid. It's wherever something happens.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to always be in that world? Always. During the day, during everyday shopping, grocery store, laundry, always in that different kind of world?
I don't know yet.
Or is
I do know that there are many times that world, that playground, is something I step into unaware.
Yeah.
That something happens like the attack from the Doberman, the charge of the rhinos. Sometimes it'll be with street kids or just walking on the street. Or it happened with men in the prison. I was just there and some men would come by or I'd do something and boom, it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't consciously preparing like I am when I go to the school and the class comes and we sit in a circle. There's a preparation for it. But often it happens and I'm not prepared. I'm not consciously prepared. But a big part of the curiosity remains if I'm not consciously prepared. How does the event take place, including me? As a neurologist said to me about the dog attack, Fred, your brain knew you were safe before the dog attacked. What I can't tell you is how your brain knows that. Whoa, now that made me curious. I mean, my brain knows things about safety ahead of the event. And the event occurs between me and some other being. Does the being know too? Is the knowing just in here, or is it out there? And if it's out there, is it the being, dog, human, and me? Or is it dog, human, and God? I mean, the dog certainly didn't seem to create the safety. And I didn't.
That was the situation with the Doberman who attacked you. Yeah.
Yeah, just in my normal street, in my neighborhood, right out of the normal day. Leaped at my face. I had no skills. I didn't even, the only thing I did was turn and look at her. My hands were at my side. I was totally relaxed. I didn't try to run, didn't try to block. I didn't try to do anything. Because I didn't need to do anything. Somehow my body, my mind, all of me already knew all I had to do is just be there. Don't let I get in the way of an event that's already happened. So, yeah, sometimes the playground is established by me, or sometimes an animal establishes it. Nala, the lion, established it. I mean, I went in, but she established the playground. But other times, I'm just doing what I might normally do, walking on the street. Walking with people on the safari in Africa when the rhinos attacked. And there it was, boom. The safety was there. And I did exactly what I had done with the Doberman. So I don't know how this original playground, just right world works. I love being part of it. because what's clear so far is that it's a just right world in which I participate. I don't control events.
Yeah.
In our world, the right and wrong world, there's certainly an attempt to control events and an assumption that I do or don't control events. But in what I call the just right world, I don't control events because I don't need to control events. I'm part of a relationship, a system, where the idea of control doesn't come up. Because you step into, you're part of an existing relationship in which what we would call outside control, inside, is shared in such a way that it's not a subject of debate.
Yeah.
It's not a question. It's not a mystery. It may be a mystery to me in the sense of I don't know how it happens. And I'm curious about that. But there's such a comfort in it. And I've come to think that that's from the very beginning, from the very first time I played with children. That's what it was about. That somehow, at the beginning, it had to be the kids leading me until I had some idea what in the heck I'm supposed to do. It's safety. You're safe here. This is home. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to fight it. I don't need to escape it. Now, and I think what Paul, Nala, Lion, Jose, the 13-year-old gang member, all demonstrated each in their own way. The connection that, when I say safety, I don't mean you can't die.
It's not about life and death. No.
It's about thriving right now. I can't imagine the comfort I saw in Paul with leukemia at 4 years old, choosing play, knowing what it would do to him, over not play. And then seeing it repeated with cancer patients who played with a man named Stark, who was wealthy. He and his wife had traveled around the world looking for a cure for his cancer. Right now I don't remember what, I think it was, I'm not sure what kind of cancer it is, but it was serious. And when he came to the retreat, when they both came, all he could do was lie on the floor. Couldn't sit up, couldn't. I mean, he couldn't. He was just in such bad shape. So he came to me for the hour of our play, and I thought ahead of time, wow, Not sure. We have to see. Because when I've played with children who can't do anything more than sit in a wheelchair or lie flat. When he came and he looked at me and he said, "Fred, what are you trying to tell me?" And I looked, and it took me a minute to, Stark, I'm trying to tell you to play with your cancer. And he said, "Okay, got it." He jumped on me. We played like we were two 10-year-old kids in a mud puddle. A person in a different room heard us and said she thought there were two bears playing in the room. There was so much noise, so much rolling around, so much rambunctiousness. And we finished. Stark, how did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither of us had an answer. But
I think that is something that I also experience sometimes, that I can move my body in a way that I usually can't. Like, I have this pain in my shoulder, but last time we had a workshop and we played around, I did not have that pain, and it stayed for 1-2 days, and then the pain came back again. And that to me is always like a mystery. I can't move my arm, but when I play, I can roll around, I can move without any pain, nothing. And when you talk about the cancer patients, they can do things that they, in normal life, they just can't do, or it's even dangerous. Like that man could have, the doctor said, I think you shared, that his doctor said that he could break his bones.
Right, yeah.
But that didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen in Play with Me and two of his children. I don't remember a single time with the cancer patients when they asked, why did that happen? Or how did that happen? They accepted it. Mm. And that was curious to me. Wow. You're accepting something that's impossible and true. Paul did that. Mm-hmm. I did that with my hand. Wow, that's like fairy tale or science fiction. But my guess is that if we look at much, if not most, of fairy tales, science fiction, even science, it's about curiosity. Perhaps even most of religion is about curiosity. And in my case, it seems that my curiosity is part of a larger pattern.
What do you mean by that?
It's part of a pattern of the way God demonstrates through others. That just doesn't give me an idea, a metaphor, what if. It's not, I wouldn't be happy about an experience. I want the experience. Learning about God is not enough.
No. You want
I
to
know God.
You wanna be
experience
there.
God.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, that's what you want? I'll give it to you. And that's, so in order for the gift to come, he employs a wolf, an elephant, a cancer patient, you, and I feel incredibly gifted. Because then all life is connected. It's necessarily connected. It's not connected as a metaphor. It's not the idea of Indra's web. It's living Indra's web. Wow. That's curious. Because it's never ending. It's not like I can say, well, thanks for the events, now I'll just go on and... I don't get that choice. And that's a delight. I think in this kind of life, you can't but not smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose that's a really wonderful relationship to have with life itself and God, is you just smile.
Yeah. And you feel this, like we talked yesterday about this joyful feeling, like this enthusiasm about life, not as going outward as an energy of joy, but going inward, going deeper. Like sometimes I walk up and down and I just feel this, I need to be bigger to have space for this joyful feeling I have inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I started having that, I think, really with the kids, when I started, because prior to that, I wasn't awake or aware, wasn't connected enough. I was curious about my job, my career. I was curious about the rent being paid. I was curious about all the things that culture tells us you need to be curious about, because those are the things that matter. And started to, when you spend a day with kids, young kids, not having to be their parent or their teacher or their guide or their manager, get rid of all the cultural roles and just be there. And if somehow that reminds me of in Sweden once, I was contacted by a Danish television program. And they'd come to a lecture or something, and they said, we want to test you. That's what we want to film. I said, yeah, okay. Now, that's the whole idea of testing is in the right and wrong world.
Yeah.
And I said yes. I don't care one way or another. I didn't even take the time to explain that to them. So the day came, and they were going to drive me. They drove me to a park somewhere in the city that I'd never been to. And we got out, and they just said, go, do what you do. I said, oh, okay, I don't know. So I walk in the park, and one of the first things, even in a classroom, one of the first things I do is stop. And I surround the space. I call it surrounding the space with love. What it is paying attention. Who's here? What's going on? Okay. Assess the space. Enter it. So I enter this very large playground, which it's got trees, a soccer field, a sandbox. It's a huge place. So I just stand there and watch. And I see three or four boys. They're 9 years old or so. They're coming, and they're all wearing, backpacks like they're coming from school. This is in the afternoon. They took me to this. So the boys take their backpacks off and kind of throw them in a pile. And from somewhere, there's this wagon there. So they pull and push each other around the entire park in this wagon. And I watch them do this. So they go around once, twice. So the next time, and they pass near where I am, and the filmmaker, the producer and camera person are back there. I sit right next to the sidewalk where they go by. So I'm just sitting there. And the boys come by and they stop right in front of me. And all four of them are looking at me. And they say, "You want to ride?" Okay. So I jump in there and they pull me all the way around the park. Then we get back to where we were. And this is about 10, 15 yards from the edge of a soccer field. And there's a soccer ball just sitting out, but there's no one else around. Just the ball just sitting out there. So I thank the boys, step out of the wagon, and I run towards that soccer ball. And of course the boys run after me toward that soccer ball. I give it just a little kick. And so they come closer to me. And then I fall right on top of the soccer ball. And the boys all fall on top of me. And we roll on them and the ball goes away. Then the boys get up and say, "We got to go home." They pick up by and they're gone. Then I look around and there's a sandbox, fairly large sandbox, maybe over 10 feet square. Maybe like 4 meters square. And there's a mother and a toddler, a child who can only crawl, maybe stand a little bit, at one side of the sandbox. And I call the producer over. And I say, "I want you to go and talk to the mother. Tell her what you are there for. And I want you to tell her that I will sit in the opposite side of the sandbox and I'm not going to move. They can stay there, they can leave, they can do whatever they want. I'm not going to do anything. So they're perfectly safe." So he went and told her. And I just literally sat down on the edge of the sandbox with my legs out. Didn't talk to her, didn't say anything, didn't engage her at all. The infant crawled across the sandbox and played with my legs and crawled back to Mom and crawled back to Mom 2 or 3 times. And then Mom picked it up and they walked away. I turned to the producer and said, "See, it works." And he said, they couldn't believe it. It's a mystery. But there I came. I didn't have any idea what in the world I was going to do, who was there, what they were going to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't orchestrate anything. But I could orchestrate me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make those boys include me. I made it possible for them to include me. And you only make it possible for the woman and her child, for the boys, if I make it safe. How do you make it safe? Stop being me. Stop being a man. Stop being American. And it's not just stopping being something. You have to replace what you stopped being. It's not emptiness in terms of nothingness.
Yeah, yeah.
There's presence there. The boys knew that. The mother knew that. The infant knew that. So what's the presence?
That's what I just wanted to ask you. What's the presence? What's the presence that they feel and are drawn to?
I'll put the word on it that they feel safe. And in the safety, for me, another word for the safety is God's love. And both of those, especially God's love, human adults have trouble with. They think you're faking, and they can't touch that.
Yeah.
And they don't know quite why the kids would feel I was safe. I'm not talking to them. I'm not convincing them. I'm not giving them I'm not doing anything. That's what makes safety there. Adults want to do something all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am expressed.
Yeah.
Look how I played with those kids. Well, there was no I there to play with the kids. And the kids could feel, and the mom and the baby could feel, probably something they couldn't talk about.
Yeah.
If the producer afterward had asked the boys, well, why did you know him? No. Why did you do that? Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
In the I don't know world, curiosity is the door to that world. And what we think is that once you cross over into the I don't know world, you can bring all your knowing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't.
You can't. No.
If you're in the I don't know world, all your knowing is on you've lived it.
Mm-hmm.
And that provides the playground. Every time you played with little kids, it was an I don't know world. You didn't know what was going to happen, how they were going to react, what were they going to do.
Mm.
There's a sense when you create that plan of a playground in school, or I create it somewhere where it's bounded, that I'm in control of something.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality within the play is I'm not controlling anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've always smiled that from the point of view of the filmmaker, you can test me. But the reality is, you can't test the just right world. Testing only works in a right and wrong world. And that's an entirely different kind of lifestyle. You need an I in the just right world. Because that depends where you are in that world, the vertical hierarchy of that world. In the just right world, there's no I's there. You're not going anywhere. There's no hierarchy. So safety is a given. Whew. And that's what the boys and mom and the infant could feel.
Yeah.
That's magical.
We stop with the magic.
Yeah.